Two speakers today. Two speakers. You want some speakers for some chargers? Huh? Speakers for some chargers. I'm gonna ask the same question. Do you like?
Driver, but a Hall of Fame person. Last year, the Biffles flew hundreds of aid missions in western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. A friend who's here says Biffle would want everyone to go on.
I know it'll hit me more when I realize it's just really over. You know, it's the friendship will always be there in my heart.
As for the fatal crash, according to flight tracking data, the plane took off from Statesville Regional Airport, where we are, which is about 45 minutes north of Charlotte. Less than 10 minutes later, it circled back, and then cameras recorded the crash. Say it was heart-wrenching to find out who was on board.
But it was a little bit open, so I kind of seen like some red flares. And a little bit after that, I just heard like a big ruckus that shook the house.
So officials say it's going to take some time to obviously get this runway clear off the debris as the investigation is ongoing to, why this all happened. Meantime, two of the other victims were also part of the NASCAR family, just reeling right now. Either way, less than a week out from Christmas, and a great story.
All right, News Nation's Xavier Walton. A lot of questions around this one as well. We'll come back to you. Please continue trying to talk to folks there and see how they're feeling about everything. Xavier, thank you.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's pre-diabetes adults, but you can escape. Take the 1-minute pre-diabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
NewsNation is taking you back in time this Christmas Eve. Back to the first Black Friday.
Hold it! Hold it!
Decking the halls of the decade of decadence. A very 80s Christmas.
Americans rely on The Hill for politics and policy news more than any other digital politics publication. The Hill. Trusted, credible, nonpartisan. Visit thehill.com today.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Life's daily battles are not. You okay? Because checking in on a friend can create a space. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor, a master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable. Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here? Biologically, no. Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
We do begin with breaking news at this hour. The search for a killer is over, but the hunt for a motive is just beginning. Police finding the suspect in the university shooting dead and tying him to the murder of an MIT professor as well. Police say Claudio Neves Valente dead in a storage facility in New Hampshire. Investigators revealing the Portuguese national had studied at Brown and was in the same academic program as MIT professor Nuno Loureiro, also from Portugal. NewsNation's Marcus Espinoza has the latest.
We have the person, that we identified the person, and that person is dead. But for the Brookline shooting.
A major breakthrough for investigators in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Authorities identifying their suspect, Claudio Neves Valente. Investigators say a break in the case came from a person who had an interaction with the suspect on Brown's campus and recognized him after police released images of a person of interest. That individual came forward to Providence Police and provided information. That led investigators to the suspect's vehicle.
He blew this case right open. He blew it open. And that person led us to the car, which led us to the name, which led us to the photographs of that individual renting the car, which matched the clothing of our shooter here in Providence.
From there, federal prosecutors say they followed a trail of rental car records, hotel stays, and financial transactions, placing Neves Valente in Massachusetts and Rhode Island around the time of both attacks, before finding his body in Salem, New Hampshire. Investigators say they have no evidence he knew the Brown victims, and they still do not know his motive. But there's no doubt the MIT professor killed was the intended target, and that both men studied at the same university in Portugal years ago.
It is true that Mr. Valente was a physics student. Also, we know that the MIT, the victim there, was in that discipline as well.
Brown University said Valente was enrolled at the school from the fall of 2000 to the spring of 2001. He was admitted to the graduate school to study physics beginning in September 2000. When authorities found he had 2 firearms and a satchel, but prosecutors did not say yet what was inside. They also say there was no evidence that he was working with anyone else. Prosecutors say Valente used a phone with a tracking blocker, switched to an old unregistered Maine license plate, and was, quote, sophisticated in hiding his tracks. Anna, now this was an extremely complicated investigation, and it appears that the suspect detection, including those things mentioned there. It also appears that he was investigating and casing this particular area for some time, that he had been in the area booking a hotel since November. And so this was very clearly carried out intentionally and for quite some time, according to investigators. But this is the news. This is the update we've been waiting for. That break, and then that just opened up a flurry of activity that we started following live yesterday, that you heard from Brian Ensign, your investigative reporter, and bam, everything just opened up.
Yeah, and for investigators to be able to connect the dots between these two stories that we were following this week, we knew they were close in proximity, less than an hour down the road, but a lot of questions do still remain this morning. Have you gotten a sense of what the mood is like there? I mean, this has got to have had the residents there really on edge, knowing that this individual.
Well, and even at the hotel, leaving today, you could just leave people kind of mumbling about it, talking to each other, even though it was bright and early this morning. I think once that news got out, I think there's this just calm and relief of sigh of, that sigh of relief of, okay, we have at least an initial answer. Now all those follow-up questions, because again, you have the multiple shootings, the MIT professor. It appears perhaps that two guns were used in each, a separate gun was used in each separate shooting, though they may be linked, because it appears initially the gun used in the school shooting, the university shooting, is not the same. They're not the same bullets and ammunition that was used in the killing of the MIT professor. So all that ballistic work has to get done now to kind of draw that timeline. But I think I'm fascinated by the tip that came in from somebody who was sometimes sleeping inside the basement of that Bears Hall engineering building there, and then identifying that person, that picture getting out to the public, and then them getting a hold of him. That information was key because they needed to find some sort of ID and car and vehicle, and then once they found that vehicle, boom, it led them to New Hampshire, and then from there, everything else we've explained and unfolded there.
The Trump administration is suspending the green card lottery program the suspected gunman used to enter the United States. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem making the announcement late Thursday. She says Neves Valente was issued a green card through the diversity visa program in 2017. Tens of millions apply each year, but only 55,000 visas are granted. There are strict work and vetting requirements as part of that entry. So the suspect has been identified, but the investigation really far from over. What are the next steps in trying to figure out how all of this happened? It would have been a lot better from an investigative standpoint, wouldn't it, if this guy hadn't killed himself, allegedly?
Through all the digital evidence, they're going to have to execute warrants at his residences, on the car, to get any kind of evidence. They're going to see if there's any kind of manifestos, any kind of email correspondence with the professor, the victim, any kind of ideology. Why did he target this professor? Why did he target Brown? So you're right. It's just the beginning, and it's going to be a daunting task to uncover all this information, what caused these.
Look, and as we look at the timeline as well, knowing that the Brown University shooting happened over the weekend, and then it wasn't until days later that the MIT professor was gunned down inside his home, you wonder, gosh, could anything have been prevented if law enforcement had been able to get hot on this guy's trail any quicker? So we do want to talk about the law enforcement response in the aftermath of the shooting there in Rhode Island. A person of interest was detained and made known to the public. An MIT professor was killed, and investigators didn't have a Wednesday night. Let's take a listen to what NewsNation's Leland Vittert had to say.
It showed a complete lack of understanding by the mayor, who began with a self-congratulatory curtain call, through the police chief, the attorney general, the governor, the head of the state police, that but for their sloppiness and missteps in the first hours of this investigation, that MIT professor might still be alive.
What do you think? It's easy for us as journalists to sit here in our air-conditioned studios and say things like that. But what do you think? The missteps in the investigation, others have weighed in from law enforcement and said similar to what Leland's saying. Where do you stand on things?
Yeah, I mean, basic investigators conducting investigations through canvas for video interview witnesses. I think they were kind of behind the eight ball because, again, Brown University had the failure not to have video surveillance in the school. They didn't have key card access to the classes. So I think a big part of the blame is going to be on Brown University. It did seem like the Rhode Island law enforcement were a little bit, guided, perhaps. They weren't going the right way. Maybe they got a little too excited, like your colleague said. So I think they were a little too eager, and they stopped the investigation when they thought they have apprehended the individual. So that definitely caused a bit of delay. Again, because of the lack of surveillance, and until they found that witness, they were definitely struggling to identify this individual.
Yeah, it used to be a lot easier when investigators would recover somebody's phone. They could just lickety-split, find out a whole lot more data. Then understand this suspect that has now apparently turned the gun on himself. He was very careful with everything, likely a very bright individual given his education history. Is there any concern, though, that he didn't work alone? Could he potentially have been, could somebody have even been directing him to do this? What's the possibility someone helped him or knows something about what happened?
Yeah, there's always that possibility, and that's definitely why they got to comb through all the digital correspondence with Brown University, with perhaps MIT. Any grievances? What's his personal belief? Does he have some kind of ideology that could be linked to some kind of another group? So that's definitely something that investigators are going to go through right now as we speak, and it's going to be a very challenging investigation.
All right. Well, we really thank you for joining us today and lending us your expertise. Michael Alcazar, retired at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Thank you.
My opponent is completely disregarding almost half of my arguments, which I respond to.
Communities must step up.
Laws alone cannot stop the bullying.
Well, I completely disagree. Point of inquiry, do you guys even realize that the #1 killer of children and teens are gun injuries?
You're probably starting to realize now, this is not a debate.
There is no adult in this earth that wants children to die.
I worry for my kids.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready! We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you, too.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wild.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Best Reviews is an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations to give reliable recommendations on just about everything.
Call that a plasma sword?
For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever.
On this Friday morning, Nick, what's the major show of support for Ukraine by Europe? What's this about?
Putting the money where the mouth is. Anna, good morning to you and everyone at home. Ukraine will be receiving an interest-free loan of $105 billion from the European Union. It's a big boost for the country as it faces bankruptcy and reduced U.S. support from the Trump administration since Russia's invasion. But European leaders stopped short of using seized Russian assets to raise that money. Multiple countries objected over fears it would further escalate tensions with Russia. For further peace negotiations, Kyiv will not have to repay that loan until after the war ends. And right now, Russian President Vladimir Putin is taking part in an end-of-year press conference. You're looking live at the event right now, which lasts for hours as Mr. Putin takes questions from the public and the media. This morning, Putin told press that troops are advancing across Ukraine and is confident his military goals will be won and they will. Chinese company that TikTok is officially handing over control to some U.S. companies. It's a deal that will allow the app to stay on the U.S. market, ending years of concerns about national security and the data of Americans. The deal will close in January with part of ByteDance going to Oracle, Silver Lake, and MGX. This deal also creates a 7-member American board of directors and the agreement that American user data will be stored locally in a system run by Oracle. A Milwaukee County Circuit judge faces up to in a case involving a Mexican immigrant. Judge Hannah Dugan was charged with helping the man evade federal immigration officers by lying to agents and letting the man duck out of her courtroom through a side door. She was found not guilty of actually concealing him. No word when her sentencing will be held. Homeland Security says the immigrant in her courtroom was found and deported. Anna.
Thank you so much. Hey everybody, this holiday travel season is shaping up to be the busiest ever, with more than 120 million Americans expected to hit the roads and the skies between now and New Year's. And NewsNation's Mills Hayes is live for us at Chicago International Airport. And Mills, the holiday rush is in full swing right now. What do travelers guys packing our patience?
Packing our pretty smoothly here at the O'Hare Airport. It is still early, and it's actually the first day we are expected to see this increase in travel for the holiday season. And more than 122 million Americans are expected to travel more than 50 miles from where they live. And AAA is saying that this could be one of the busiest travel seasons on record. The good news for airline travelers, though, is that majority of people are going to be driving to their location. So to be on the road, which is helped out by lower gas prices, now below $3 a gallon nationwide for the first time in 4 years. But in the skies, airlines also breaking for record crowds. Airlines for America forecast more than 52 million people will fly during the holidays, about 3 million people a day, with airlines adding 72,000 seats daily to keep up. And many people are move.
Glad that we came this weekend, and it'll be Christmas, so a lot to do between now and then, but very excited to be back.
The busiest days are expected to be today and this weekend, and also the days following Christmas. And if you are traveling on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, well, good for you, because it's going to be less busy and less crowded. And of course, the biggest, hottest destination for people here in the U.S. is going to be warmer weather places. So California and Florida, big winners there. Wish I them now.
All right, Mills, thank you so much. Well, President Donald Trump touting new data on consumer spending, showing inflation cooling last month to 2.7%. That's lower than the 3% analysts had been expecting, which was also September's number prior to that government shutdown. So joining us now is Preston Brashear. He's for tax policy for the Heritage Foundation's Grover M. Herman Center. Nice to see you today.
Good morning, Anna.
So as we look forward, what does this report indicate to you about the path for prices, particularly as we head into the new year?
Yeah, so this was definitely a very good report. The 2.7%. It's still above the 2% target that we'd like to see, that the Federal Reserve targets. Unfortunately, I think that's probably the reality going forward, just long term, with the way that the national debt hit that 2% target. But certainly this 2.7% number is a lot better than the 5% that we were averaging under the Biden years, and that reached over 9% at its peak. Mm-hmm. So there's progress being made. There's certainly Americans are still dealing with prices that are higher than they like, but at least the rate of growth of the prices has come down.
Well, as we look at these numbers, should we have faith in them? Analysts are noting that the government shutdown did cause some gaps in the day. Painful picture whether inflation is truly easing.
Yeah, it's a great question, and you're right, because of the government shutdown, the government was not collecting data in October, and it was a little bit abbreviated in November as well. And so there's some incompleteness to this data. So I would take it with a little bit of a grain of salt for that reason, just in terms of there's maybe a little bit larger margin of error. There's certain things that they were imputing that they normally wouldn't do. But with that said, I think that 2.7% number is probably about right, because even if the numbers are a little bit lower than if the headline number was a little bit lower than the actual number ends up being, the way that is calculated, the 2.7% growth is year over year, and we had pretty high inflation in those last 2 months of the Biden years. And so once those 2 months are taken out, it'll probably still end up being, even if things were a little bit off from the government shutdown, I still think we'll probably end up kind of in the high 2 ranges right now.
Okay, one of the big concerns for the Fed has been that lowering interest rates would reignite inflation. What do you see about all of this? I mean, do you think that this data could be swaying their next move?
Yeah, I think the Fed's probably going to take a wait and see approach, just because of the uncertainty around the data. Probably the next decision will be in late January. One more inflation report to take a look at. That will be informative for them. I think if I had to bet, they're probably going to keep interest rates where they are. They're a little bit more of a neutral place than they were at the start of the Trump administration. And so I think, it's been good to see that inflation has not gotten, not accelerated, even as interest rates have come down.
Yeah. Look, we're less than a week away from Christmas, and so Saturday, tomorrow, is expected to be the second busiest shopping day of the year. And we've got some recent polling in from NBC finding that 55% of Americans actually plan to spend less this year on gifts. But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is saying there's been a strong shopping season so far. What are you anticipating tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, there's going to be some effects from some of the goods prices are going to be a little bit up from tariffs, certainly certain imports, but for the most part, I think the economy is doing pretty well. I think that's going to be a pretty solid season. We don't have any big red flags at this moment. The unemployment rate is in the mid fours. That's solid. So I think the GDP numbers are looking pretty good. We're probably looking at close to a 3% annual GDP number, which is quite solid. So, there's headwinds, but there's a lot of really good things as well.
Right. I mean, the president has made some controversial comments and things like maybe little girls don't need so many dolls under the Christmas tree and things like that. But Christmas is a time full of pressure for a lot of parents. Do you have any advice for parents not to be putting too much on credit cards this season?
Well, I mean, enjoy the Christmas season and enjoy the holidays. It's obviously we enjoy it for many reasons. There's nothing wrong with the Christmas presents under the tree, obviously, but make it a special year with your family.
Yeah, the reason for the season. It's not just the gifts, right?
Yeah.
Preston Brashears, thank you so much for joining us. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Fraud investigation in Minnesota. It's growing this morning with new arrests and new charges. So the issue is this: billions of dollars allegedly stolen through organizations meant to help various communities. These cases have been getting national attention because of their ties to down. NewsNation's Brooke Schaefer is joining us now from Minnesota. And right now, Brooke, investigators are saying this is far bigger than anybody first believed.
Absolutely, Anna. Minnesota prosecutors yesterday said the fraud they are still finding is staggering, and they said it's swamping their state. Yesterday, they announced 5 more arrests on Medicaid fraud charges, including 2 people they said try to make easy money, as prosecutors put it. They also said Thursday of the $18 billion in federal funding sent to 14 state-run programs since 2018, it's very possible that half of that $18 billion was fraud.
What we see in Minnesota is not a handful of bad actors committing crimes. It's a staggering industrial scale fraud. These aren't companies that are providing some services, but these are companies that are providing essentially no services. They're essentially shell companies created to defraud the program.
As federal prosecutors made those comments in Minneapolis, about 20 minutes away, the FBI on Thursday raided another business suspected of fraud and alleged to have billed roughly $1 million for home health services they never provided. That investigation is still happening today, but prosecutors in a bad way and claimed hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars have been used to fund big purchases and fancy vacations. Federal sources tell NewsNation of the roughly 90 people charged so far in these Medicaid fraud schemes, almost all are Somali Americans. President Trump has threatened to end temporary legal protections for Somalis in Minnesota, and this week accused Somali immigrants in the state of stealing billions of dollars. Has rejected those statements from the president, but said of Thursday's arrest, we will not tolerate fraud and we will continue to work with our federal partners. And prosecutors told me yesterday they expect more arrests soon. Anna?
Wow, what that money could have gone to instead. Brooke, thank you.
Greg Biffle has officially clinched the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. Jack Roush, his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship.
Well, today the sports world is mourning the loss of Thursday alongside his wife and 2 children. The private jet it went down just hours after it had taken off. They tried returning to this airport there in Statesville, North Carolina. Now, on the track, Biffle was one of NASCAR's top 75 drivers and a Hall of Fame nominee. When he wasn't racing, Greg Biffle was a well-known family man and humanitarian. He spent weeks personally flying in aid for Hurricane Helene victims last fall. And NewsNation's Xavier Walton is at the crash. Xavier, what's the latest? What do you think went wrong? We know it was a bit rainy, a bit foggy. What happened?
Anna, good morning. Yeah, that's a question that investigators are certainly trying to still figure out. The NTSB GO team is going to be here later this morning. The crash site, I know it's dark, but the crash site is just behind us. What's left of the plane is still there. But yeah, just a heartbreaking story all around. Here's doorbell video of the crash just yesterday morning. And when you see it, you see that the plane crashed, then burst into flames. The FAA says 7 people on board, among them, as you mentioned, retired NASCAR champion Greg Biffle, his wife and 2 kids. Biffle's family put out this statement, reading in part, this tragedy has left all of our families heartbroken beyond words. Greg and Christina were devoted parents and active philanthropists whose lives were centered around their young son Ryder and Greg's daughter Emma. Greg Biffle, he was known for his work on and off the track, a champion driver, but a Hall of Fame person. Last year, the Biffles flew hundreds of aid missions in Western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. A friend who's known him for 20 years says Biffle would want everyone to go on.
I know it'll hit me more when I realize it's just really over. It's the friendship will always be there in my heart.
As for the fatal crash, according to flight tracking data, the plane took off from Statesville Regional Airport, where we are, which is about 45 minutes north of Charlotte. Less than 10 minutes later, it circled back and then crashed. The neighbor whose camera say it was heart-wrenching to find out who was on board.
My blinds was closed, but it was a little bit open, so I kind of seen like some red flares. And a little bit after that, I just heard like a big ruckus that shook the house.
So officials say it's going to take some time to obviously get this runway clear off the debris as the investigation is ongoing to, why this all happened. Meantime, 2 of the other victims were also part of the NASCAR family. Just reeling right now. Either way, less than a week out from Christmas, and just a heartbreaking story.
All right, NewsNation's Xavier Walton. A lot of questions around this one as well. We'll come back to you, and please continue trying to talk to folks there and see how they're feeling about everything. Xavier, thank you.
My opponent is completely disregarding almost half of my arguments, which I responded to.
Communities must step up.
Laws of
I completely disagree. Point of inquiry, do you guys even realize that the #1 killer of children and teens are gun injuries?
You're probably starting to realize now, this is not a debate.
There is no adult in this earth that wants children to die.
I worry for my kids.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savebythescan.org.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
NewsNation is taking you back in time. Back to the first Black Friday. Ding the halls of the decade of decadence. A very 80s Christmas. Christmas Eve at 8, 7 Central on NewsNation.
Best Reviews is an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations to give reliable recommendations on just about everything.
Call that a plasma sword?
For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
We do begin with breaking news at this hour. The search for a killer.
Live from Ozarks First Plus, a rapid rundown of the local headlines, stories shared, viral videos, plus the features and facts before they hit your feed. You're watching The Daily Scroll with me, Bailey Stroll.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the Daily Scroll with Bailey Stroll on Ozarks First Plus. We are live right now. You know, this airs at 3:30 every day live, and then it re-airs later. So we're still happy if you're joining us later on, or maybe on a different day. You know, it's the holiday season. There's some vacations coming up. You might be catching this on Christmas, which it's fitting because we have a lot of Christmas stories to tell you about today. We're going to get into it, but first, let's see what's going on over on the other side of this table with Jay Reed. You've got a lot of time off that you're getting out of here soon.
It is vacation time.
It is that time of year, and it has been slim pickings in the newsroom.
Wow.
Both story-wise.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
and
just like
people-wise,
okay,
people-wise too, but I have to let people in on a little secret of the, when they say, oh, must be a slow news day. Half the time when they comment that, it's not. But this time of year,
it actually is. Don't tell anybody.
It really is. Like the holiday times, everybody's off. Nobody's. Yeah. They're just not in the working mindset. I mean, you get it. Everybody gets it. That doesn't want to. They're kind of checked out from work right now, and sometimes that happens in news too.
It happens. Happens to the best of us.
If there's something breaking, we're gonna get it on.
The show is not phoned in at all, and you're.
Hey, we're live right now. We're not phoning it in. Well, we're live right now, but maybe not when this re-airs later.
The first story you didn't seem to love, but I think it's good. I think it's a good story.
Okay, well, I just don't know how many people know about this. So for today, we're going to talk about a town in Missouri that is the Christmas city. And then later on, this kind of sounds like a newsy story, but I feel like this is pretty interesting. And if you haven't seen the video yet, you're going to see it. A kidnapper arrested like years and years, like 40 years after it happened.
Yeah, I tried to read that story. You're going to have to explain it because I need more facts.
It's a wild one. We'll tell you after the first break, so stick around. And then on certain days of the week, we do different segments. This segment's going to be about food. And typically, when we originally thought about this, we thought, well, we'll try some different foods that are out there. None of these are feasible at the moment. We are still going to discuss them, and you'll see why they're not feasible. Either they haven't came out yet, or they're just about to launch, or we can't drink on the job. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the first local story that I came up with today. And I'm telling you, slim pickings, but I think this is going to be a good one. Okay. So we talk about this every year. The town of Knoll becoming Noel. Some stats that you might not know about. We, of course, got the video to prove it. This post office here in Noel this time of year is popping. They're getting stuff from all over the world. And this is kind of known as the Christmas City because they literally changed their name. Anybody that wouldn't know Noel, and this is in our area, kind of toward Joplin, wouldn't know that, they would probably say that it's Noel. But that's only during the Christmas season, okay? They changed their name.
I think that's really funny.
I feel like it's the only city in the U.S. that changes.
I think more cities should do that. Just every once in a while, just be like, I think we're a different name for now.
You're just going to pronounce it the right way for once or something.
We're just going to change it.
There's so many weird.
Yeah, what are the other ones in Missouri that are definitely based on something that should be different?
Well, I'm Nevada.
Nevada, yeah. But it'd be funny if just like 1 month a year they were just like, we're Nevada.
We're Nevada, yeah. Yeah, see, that'd be fun.
Keep them on your toes.
So this tradition of Noel began actually in the 1930s during the Great Depression. The postmaster there was of French descent and realized that his town shared the name with the French word for Christmas. And to spark some much-needed joy, he began offering a special holiday pictorial postmark for any mail passing through his office. So this literally what they are doing, every postcard that comes in by hand started in 1932. We're about to hit 100 years coming up soon.
Commitment to a bit. That's
it's commitment. And the U.S. Postal Service is very in on this too.
That's fine.
They have 4 famous stamps. If you send, I kind of have some questions. So you send it? How does this work exactly?
You about to turn all bah humbug on the story?
No. Office doesn't just stamp it and go on. They have hand stamp it by these little elves.
Those were just people.
Volunteer
okay,
elves. They're the U.S. Post Office. They only have a certain budget.
That's fair. Also, when
they
I
can't
worked,
be frugal.
When I worked the Christmas parade, the credits called me an elf.
Oh, that's right.
There's a list of elves. So technically.
Right.
I get it.
Okay, so a red wreath is one stamp encircling the words Noel, Missouri, the Christmas City. A green Christmas tree, Christmas City in the Ozark Vacation Land. I don't know who's vacationing to Noel, but all right. And then a red Noel or a blue Noel. And these are pictorial stamps. Unlike a standard postmark, it means that you still need regular postage, but the Noel team adds these extra designs for free to spread the holiday spirit. So in order to get yours done, you address and stamp your individual Christmas cards, place them inside a large envelope or box, mail that package to 64854, that's the area code. Volunteers will open your package, hand stamp each individual card with the 4 festive designs, and then send them on their way to the recipients. Okay, that's the question I had. How does it get to the end?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what happens if I just write a letter to Santa and then send it? That doesn't get stamped by little elves?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How do they know which ones to do and which double envelope?
Wouldn't it be a shame to live in Knoll and every time you try to send a letter, it comes back with this little stamp on it?
And it takes a day longer because it's got to I know, right? Okay, so here are some numbers. The annual holiday cards that come through are up to 85,000 plus pieces of mail. The all-time peak was in the 1940s or 50s, 500,000 plus pieces. They get them from all 50 states and even in Pan. They have 10 to 20 local volunteers hand stamping, and the 5 billionth holiday mail piece was hit in last year. And I know the 6 billionth, because we had it on the news, was this year. So pretty cool. And then just quickly, I know we have to go to break. There are others claiming to be the Christmas city in the U.S., so I did a little digging.
How dare they?
Have you ever heard of Santa Claus, Indiana?
No.
I don't know. I don't think they need to put themselves out there as the Christmas city because there's Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which does say that they're Christmas City, USA. So we've got some competition here for
Do you think all
folks.
of their hotels are full? All the inns are full. All right, move on. Keep going.
Okay, that's pretty funny. And then North Pole, Alaska, which we've probably heard that before. Okay, that's all for Noel. And we have stories on this on our website all the time. So just give it a Goog and you'll find out where to send it if you want to do this, okay? Keep in mind for next year. And then when we come back, we have the video of this kidnapper getting arrested in Florida like decades after she kidnapped her daughter. So we'll update you on that.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable. Guys, can I get a little space here? Biologically, no. Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
NewsNation is taking you back in time this Christmas Eve. Back to the first Black Friday. Decking the halls of the decade of decadence. A very 80s Christmas. Christmas Eve at 8, 7 Central on NewsNation.
There I was, 16. Maybe another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's and master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I could not help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Okay, body camera footage showing the arrest of a who is accused of abducting her daughter all the way back in 1983. This story, I mean, I've never heard of something like this happening. I know it's happened in the past, but this is wild. Apparently, a neighbor was standing outside with this Deborah Newton who was arrested and said, they thought it was a prank at first when the police were walking up. And the neighbor said, "Oh, they're coming for you, Sharon." That was her fake name. And so apparently she, familial things,
disputes,
disputes and custody things. And so I guess in 1983, she kidnapped her daughter from the father, and the daughter is 45. She turned 45 in 2024. And so, years. And didn't know any of this. Obviously, she was so small, didn't realize. But then an anonymous tip came in to, I think, Crime Stoppers. This all went down in Florida, but originally they lived in Louisville. And authorities said they got an anonymous tip that identified a possible match for a 66-year-old woman using a different name, which was Sharon, that looked a lot like this woman who had kidnapped her daughter. I can't do the math, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And so then they did a DNA test with the mom who kidnapped, sister, 99.9% match. Then they saw the resemblance, did the DNA test, it matched. And then in Kentucky there, they found that Michelle, the daughter, was found living identity in a different state. So I'm guessing the mom had changed her name too. Not only her name, but her daughter's name.
That's crazy.
She was found totally unaware that she had allegedly been abducted. And of course, this is all allegedly. She's only been charged. So if I'm not saying it as fact. But the deputy there who did all this work said this is the kind of case you see once in a law enforcement career. I mean, people all around here have never seen this in their law enforcement career. And just absolute. Right? And it's just like, what was she doing that day? What were her plans for dinner? You know, now she's going to have it in a jail cell. And she went back to Louisville. Now she's lived her 40 years in Florida. And now she's back in Louisville in a jail cell. And I read somewhere else, this is all coming from our sister station, WDKY. But I read somewhere else.
Just crazy.
And I bet they're going to be reunited soon.
I think they were. Was that?
That's
that
oh yeah,
picture
the
was?
picture. Oh yeah, go back to that one. I didn't get a good look at that.
Yeah.
That is just. Oh, look at that! I love that. But she's probably like, I don't know you, but
I think it said. Oh yeah, I think it said she was like 45 now, right?
Yeah.
So
making up for lost time. I just the detectives that never stopped searching. The dad never stopped searching.
Yeah.
I mean, what an ending to something that.
Do you think Netflix has the rights now, or do you think they go get those later?
True. I want to know the full story. I mean, they've got the body cam. I'm sure there's a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot more to this story. And if they can get this girl to go on camera too, I want to hear what she knows. Which she didn't know anything, but
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
still.
I was gonna say it's possible that it'd be a big shock now, but it's possible that it wasn't.
But also, like, how do you
in between? I don't know.
How do you change your identity? Do you just drive around for 40 years without a driver's license? What if you get pulled over?
I think you get a fake one.
Do you pay? Yeah, are you paying thousands of dollars?
Bailey, I'm not
for
going to
fake?
teach you how to commit crimes. That's.
I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Where does this Sharon / what's her name?
Because sometimes you have to
Deborah.
also get stuff for the kid. Put them in
Exactly.
school,
I'm like,
I think,
she's got to
and stuff.
be
I don't know.
on the dark web getting these
Yeah.
passports.
It's probably not that hard to make you disappear. It's probably hard to make your kid.
And what is she saying as far as like why they can never go on vacation or cross state lines if that's the case? You know, she's like, Mom, let's go to.
We don't.
I guess when you live in Florida,
Yeah.
don't really.
Well, you can still go to Disney World.
Disney World,
Yeah,
the
chicken
beach. There's nothing that you need. Nowhere else you need to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lot coming up, so might as well just go to break early here. We're going to talk about newest venture by Cheez-Its, which I love me some Cheez-Its. And but I don't know about, I'm not so sure about this new thing. And then new Girl Scout cookies. Okay, new flavors, and then Bud Light and the Bills teaming up for a Blizzard brew. We'll tell you what's in it in a couple minutes.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The bravest person I know is my daughter, Cynthia.
My friend Sean, and he was in the Air Force.
One of the bravest things he ever did wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
It was when he asked to move in with me and my mom.
I felt like I was lost, and you gave me a place to stay.
She went on foreign soil. She went to war. But the bravest thing she did is
Best Reviews is an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations to give reliable recommendations on just about everything.
Call that a plasma sword?
For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Okay, who doesn't love a turkey leg? You know, I've only really got, Silver Dollar City?
That looks horrifying.
But Cheez-Its is massive. And we'll talk about how much this costs in a second. But this is for the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. I mean, these these bowls are getting a little out of hand. There's Pop-Tart bowl, Xbox bowl.
I was gonna say we just went to the Xbox bowl. MSU.
I mean, love it for the Bears, but these are getting a little bit out of hand. But anyway, Cheez-Its putting out a Cheez-It crusted turkey leg. Their mashed words. I shouldn't have even included that. It's marking his return to the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Oh, this is a dynasty.
You can only get this. Yeah, apparently. You can only get this at the Camping World Stadium. Where is this? In Florida? Citrus Bowl?
That sounds like.
Sorry, I don't have the location on here. Sorry, guys. Ketchup there. That is actually, oh my gosh, a cranberry chutney. It's on the side. It's not fries. You get Cheez-Its and it's a lot of Cheez-Its, okay? But Cheez-Its. Would you try it?
No, absolutely not.
You wouldn't?
Maybe like a bite, but that I would never lock myself into eating even remotely all of that. That seems
Oh, and they're, of
awful.
course, using extra cheesy Cheez-Its.
Well, yes. Which name you could name
5 to 10.
5 to 10
flavors.
Types of Cheez-Its. So I have them pulled up.
Well, now I got extra cheesy. That already gave me one because I wouldn't have thought about that one. We got Swiss, Parmesan.
Okay.
My favorite is Cheddar Jack.
Okay.
And then they've got Parmesan mixed with Cheddar Jack or Swiss.
Sure.
They got the mix there. The original, extra crispy.
Okay.
Okay. That. Oh gosh, I'm running out now. Jalapeno.
Okay.
I'm waiting for a flaming hot, but not yet.
Keep waiting. All right, I'll be honest.
That's
me checking you has been
more difficult than you
more
thought.
difficult than I thought.
Well, I know I'm right about these.
Yeah, I kind of
extra
just decided
toasty,
to just
not
believe
extra
you.
crispy.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Because these are the ones I have. White cheddar.
Oh, bacon. Extra spicy, I bet.
A Wendy's Baconator.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I try all
Gouda,
of them.
Hidden Valley
Cheez-Its are
Ranch.
pretty good, and I like to think that they're more on the healthier
And then
side
you
of
also
the
didn't get
unhealthy
to,
snacks.
There's also like Snapped, Puffs.
Yes.
Grooves.
The duos is what I was talking about. And I was going to say snack mix, but I don't know if that would count.
Yeah, I don't know if
Puffed. They're all good. Honestly, these are I'm not really a cracker
I
type.
did not know you're such a Cheez-It fan.
I do love I might have to get it now.
you.
I've been on a flaming hot
Wow.
kick recently, so I haven't done it. Okay, and then the next one is new Girl Scout cookie for 2026.
So exciting.
And actually, I am excited about this
okay.
one. They're called Explore Moors, and they are Rocky Road ice cream inspired sandwich cookie. I thought for a second that meant they were an ice cream cookie, but no. They're kind of like a Oreo.
That's an Oreo.
With
Or maybe that's an
flavors of marshmallow, toasted almond flavored cream and the inside. Now that sounds freaking good.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like an Oreo, but yeah, it could be. Do you think it tastes like? Do you think if you had an Oreo and one of those, you could tell the difference?
No, for sure. I hope it just at least has a hint of like, I get that
Got a
Rocky
little bit of-
Road, you know?
Yeah. It's got a little something in there.
Yeah. Explore Moors
It's
is
got a
what they're
little compass
called.
and everything. That's cute.
But my favorite, if I had to choose, a Thin Mint. A good old Thin Mint.
Okay, good.
In the freezer.
So,
from the freezer.
My mom was once very upset because somebody talked about Girl Scout cookies, and I went, "Oh, yeah, I know what a Girl Scout cookie looks like." And they were like, "Jay, there's multiple
There's
types."
so many.
I was like, "There is? I've only ever had a Thin Mint.
I
I've
mean,
never had."
I would like to see the numbers on.
If somebody told me something was Girl Scout cookie flavored, I expect mint. I expect chocolate. I wouldn't expect anything else. I wouldn't know what to do if they hand me something that looked like a caramel chocolate chip cookie. Anyways,
they do have caramel delights.
Okay.
Caramel delights
do you have the
and
list in front of you?
Samoas.
I was gonna say.
Those are like the three.
I was like, all right, name 10
the three most popular
Girl Scout cookie flavors.
Well, I don't know because we only bought the Thin Mints.
Thank you.
But Samoas I know are also good, and then I think they have one with like coconut, and maybe that's the Samoa. I'm not sure, but
I was recently informed that the other type of Girl Scout cookie that I once knew has already been discontinued. So what was the point in learning it?
Oh, Caramel Delight is the one with that I was thinking of.
Okay.
And then lemon, lemon, whatever.
You'll notice it's not on this list. I have thank you lot. Thank you. What are they called?
Never heard of it.
Thanks a lots.
Thanks a lot.
I think it's
interesting. You know, I'm not even really that much of a cookie person. All of those look delicious.
You're just a cheese person.
I'm going to have to get some next time I see them outside Walmart. Because that's the only time I ever see them. Okay, and then lastly, Bud Light and the Buffalo Bills announcing a new beer made with real snow.
Okay.
Lots of questions here. Will it taste a little different?
Is this Josh Allen approved?
I guess so. He doesn't have a say in the silly advertising that's going on here. I gotta sneeze. It's called Blizzard Brew, and it's made with snow from Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Sounds dirty. Sounds very dirty to me.
Yeah.
Did they hose the whole place down before snow? Because that is actually disgusting sounding.
Yeah, maybe if you can put it through some kind of filtration.
But I get the tradition of it. It's always very snowy at that stadium, and so I get that part. Maybe they're scraping off the top layer.
Yeah.
Of freshness.
Just the best for their new beer.
Okay, so they're coming in limited edition, 16-ounce cans with special packaging. They'll be available at participating retailers in the Buffalo area. Oh, we're not going to be able to get our hands on one, even if we wanted to.
So these are thanks-a-lots.
Look delicious once again, like a shortbread.
Yeah, and they each have like thank you written on them, but then they had it in like different languages, so they'd be like gracias and like.
That's pretty good.
I thought it was fun.
What do they taste like? Like shortbread?
Yeah, a little bit.
I love a shortbread.
Maybe do they have a little bit of chocolate on the bottom? I didn't really.
And
remember.
even better.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds absolutely delicious.
Yeah. See, they're there. They have like a little bit of chocolate on the bottom, but yeah, nice.
Reminds me of those. I just had some last week, and now I forgot what they're called. But they're like a little tiny sandwich.
Yeah,
that come in the paper bags.
Yeah,
so good.
Sorry, did you want to talk more about beer?
Well, I was trying to find something else good about this. And honestly, like, they're not really saying, because, you know, you've seen like you boil down snow and there are particles left over, and it's not fresh water. So that was my issue. I guess they're filtering it out. They would never put that in a can. But okay. All right. That's it for today.
Talked about 3 different types of food. Which one are we going to try?
I would try the turkey leg. Well, of course I'll try the cookie. I'm more of a savory girl, which is, if I'm between a cookie or a Cheez-It, I'm going Cheez-It because I'm a salty.
Can we even get our hands on the turkey leg? I wasn't listening.
No.
We have to go to that
Actually, it's only at the Camping
bowl.
World Stadium, which location still to be determined by myself. For the Citrus Bowl.
We couldn't even know. All right.
I saw Cheez-It, and then I didn't even care to look up anything else.
Saw Cheez-It and you just ran with it.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Hope everybody has a great little holiday season with some time off. And that's going to do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sunday.
Monday. Whatever day you see us again. Haha. Goodbye.
The bravest person I know is my daughter, Cynthia.
My friend Sean, and he was in the Air Force.
One of the bravest things he ever did wasn't when he first enlisted. It was when he found his first support group.
It was when he asked to move in with me and my mom.
I felt like I was lost, and you gave me a place to stay.
She went on foreign soil. She went to war. But the bravest thing